happens about 30 minutes into the run, so get those donations in for that. And let's give it over.
Hello, I'm fucking tired and this is CrossCode. It's an action JRPG released in September, and yeah, let's just get it. I touched the buzzer for the... Oh, okay, there we go. Alright. Thank you, thank you. I'm not gonna spoil any of the story as much as possible, and I just need to say that in the beginning you play as this other character, which is not the main character, and she's supposed to be like very high level and high stats, so pretty much endgame stats. But in a second, after this tutorial section, we're gonna spawn as the actual character of the game, or as the actual protagonist, rather. Just let me... okay. The early section of the game, of the run rather, is very, very dense in very esoteric kinds of glitches. So I'll try to go through them very slowly. If you don't understand them, don't worry about it too much. Now let me just do this tutorial section here where I need to throw balls. So you've seen in the section before I can use melee attacks, and I can also shoot balls to aim at people and kill them. Those are my offensive options. And right here now we get into the deep shit of this game. I'm just gonna create a file here. Please remember this file, I'm gonna need it later. And by pressing yes or no to one of these save things at the same time, I get the save prompt, but I go out of the save menu. And now I can save whenever I like. I'm gonna go out of the save file I just created. I'm gonna start a new game because Leia is actually absolutely fucking trash. I prefer to play as Shizuka. So I'm gonna play the intro again. I'm gonna make a save file here. Normally you can't save in the intro. You don't have the ability to save. But since I just stored the save prompt, there we go, I have a save file with Shizuka. And now, this is a different glitch. We call it the blank glitch. If I just save during the loading of this file, I'm not sure that it worked. The file I should get is, there you go. We have a Leia with 0 playtime and she has all elements unlocked. So Leia is an avatar, and also she transforms back into Shizuka here when I go into this cutscene. That's very useful because Shizuka is much better. But she also keeps all the elements. So Leia is an avatar, and the idea of the game is to get all the elements as an avatar does. But we all have all the elements now. So in any percent you would just try to go, try to take the fastest way to the end of the game, but in all dungeons we want to beat all the dungeons, so we're going to get to that later. And now I'm going to do a different glitch, which is I can teleport to the position of a different save file. You remember the save file I made in after the intro section. I'm going to do some weird stuff here. And the newly created Shizuka with all the elements, whoops, should land on the ship. Was that already the right one? Yeah, there we go. So I'm on a ship. I'm Shizuka. I have all the elements. I have all menus and other abilities unlocked. I'm fully functional member of society. And all these tutorials I need to do now are completely optional to me, not all of them. I need to do this one, for example, and this next one I can shoot this and jump over the rest of it. And there's another glitch coming up. I can save during a screen transition, and I do this in order to spawn in a different door than the one that I came in from. So I'm just going to spawn on the other side of the room that I just entered. That's this, we call it a save warp. I don't know how much I'm going to worry about names in this run because we have like 50 glitches with names. I don't know how useful that is to explain. But yeah, I'm just gonna teleport to the other side of this room as well, because I don't want to do that fight that's in there. And then this one, I could try to do the same, but actually there is like a trigger which opens the door only if I defeat all of these enemies, which is no problem, because I have, what do I have? I have like 300 attack instead of 20, so I'm just gonna one-shot everything. There we go. The next thing here, also a kind of glitch. So I'm just gonna take the save prompt here out of its own original context, wait for this cutscene to be over, I'm gonna save. So now when I reload this save that I just created, it's in the elevator room, but the cutscene already played, and the game's not gonna bother me with going to where the cutscene would have sent me. I'm just gonna decide to go somewhere else, which skips like 1.5 minutes of walking around talking to people or whatever. And some more tutorials. Yeah, so all dungeons. All dungeons is defined as getting all the... Oh, that was dumb. Getting all the shades. So, not beating all the bosses, not getting all the elements or whatever. Getting all the shades, which is essentially if you do beat the dungeon, or if you make it to the end of the dungeon... Oh, what did I just do? They give you like a badge of honor, and it allows you to go into other places and stuff. Okay, so Shizuka is different from Leia not only in that she's completely OP, but also she doesn't have any of the abilities. She's like all those combat abilities that you know as a CrossCode player. She doesn't have those, she only has this one. She goes around in a circle and does like 3,000 damage. That's not bad, but that's something to keep in mind for later, that I can't use any of those abilities. And now I'm gonna also teleport again to the same save file that we were meant to remember from the very beginning, because the game expects us to walk all the way back through the ship to the beginning where we spawned. I'm just gonna teleport there because I have a save file over there that I can abuse. We call it the back in time glitch. If you've seen the previous Zelda run, you might know where the name comes from. I don't actually know what it is, but it comes from there, and we decided to use that name. So CrossCode is an action RPG, but it has a lot of dungeons, and this is the tutorial dungeon with puzzles and stuff. And we're gonna bother with some of these puzzles, but then we're not gonna bother with some of the fights. I can just teleport to the other side of the room. And there are some rules attached to this, but I'm not gonna bother explaining those, because you know, every single case would be too much. Oh. And let me attempt this. I'm probably not gonna get it. There we go. I'm just gonna teleport to the other side of this room as well. So as you can see, much of the run is looking at the main menu, but at some point it's gonna get a little bit better than this. Just bear with me. So now I'm gonna do the safe warp, so warping to the other side of the room twice in a row, because you know the way the safe warp works, it like remembers the door that you came in from, but you can overwrite that with a different door. And I'm just gonna carry that door over 2 rooms into a different room, and over here I skip this room as well. The reason I want to skip these rooms is because all those abilities that we cheated for ourselves in the very beginning, like the elements, we can lose them if you go into a cutscene that might take them away from... What am I doing? Whoa. Okay. So some of these rooms I just need to skip. Not only do I save time by doing it. Well, I'm not saving any time if I keep messing up like this. There we go. And here's the turret. With Leia it's a lot of mashing, and with Shizuka it's just pressing space once. Very nice. I'm gonna save here, and you're gonna see in a second why. So, I saved over there after the boss, or after the turret. I'm gonna walk into this thing. I have no choice other than to walk in it. And it gives us the circuit menu. So you could say it gives us the neutral element tree. But in the process we lose all the other elements, because the game doesn't expect us to have them. It initiates the circuit menu as just one of them. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna go past it with this save file, but I'm gonna go back to the one that hasn't lost the elements yet. There we go. And I'm gonna do that back in time glitch where I can just teleport to the position of a different save file that I just created. And this is a technique that we're gonna use later again. And I want you to pay close attention to this cutscene. Normally I wouldn't look at it, but... So, by the way, Emily beat us in the dungeon even though we skipped most of it. She skipped apparently even more of it. What can you do? She's just really good at the game. I'm not. And here's this dude with the green hair. And he tells us we're cheating because we are level 4. The fact of the matter is, we are level 3. So fuck him. If you want me to beat him up for it, you need to donate towards the incentive, which 24 money away from being met, I think. Oops. It's in about like 25 minutes or something. No, 20 minutes. This is already 10 minutes into the run. Damn. Don't even know how bad that exactly is. So here, the game makes a big deal out of that was too early. Out of how the rookie, so the early section of the game is right next to the very late section of the game, and that's really nice game design and like storytelling. But it's also very nice for the speedrun, because since the early part of the game and the late part of the game meet at one of the maps, and I can just, not just, but luckily I can teleport to the other side of the map. I can go into the last town of the game right away at the very beginning and get some end gear stuff. And what I'm doing here is the infinite money glitch. Similar to how you can glitch the save menu and do shenanigans like that, you can glitch this selling menu. I'm going to show you that again. So I'm going to buy one of these just to speed this up. So I can glitch it out of its context. I can overflow the value. I only have one of these, but I can set it 2 of them to sell. And when I go back into the selling menu, the game's like, I think the game checks whether I have reached the maximum of sellable items. But since I'm already over it, it doesn't realize that it's not, this shouldn't be happening. And now I can just sell as many as I like. How much money do I need? Probably like 630,000, but just to be sure on this marathon run, I'm gonna go for 700,000 and get some good items. So, for example, there are good food items over here. That's too many. There we go. Food buffs are very important in this game. They are very overpowered. Maybe not overpowered, but they're really powerful. And also I'm gonna get level 59 gear right here. Again, I'm level 3 at the moment, not level 4, but also not level 59. So that's a great upgrade. Here's a little bit of story stuff. Oops. Yeah, now it's gonna come a long section of walking to the next town where the first dungeon is, and using that time to get some cheap levels. So, god damn it. Can we do this? I'm just gonna teleport past this barrier here, this red barrier. Usually you have to go through the dialogue to get the shade that gets you past that. Not gonna do that. So, as I go through these areas, I'm gonna try to just get some cheap kills. I'm totally overpowered, I'm gonna one-hit everything. Oops. Hello, thank you. Is there a donation, perhaps, already?
Not currently, but I guess this is a good moment to remind everyone of the donation incentive for this game. Defeat Apollo is still $24 away from being met.
So this stretch of the game there's not much happening, so I wanna mention the community. The community is much bigger than, or the amount of people that have had a big impact on CrossCode as a speed game is much bigger than what the leaderboards suggest. We have a lot of modders that make useful mods for us. Like, they make all kinds of mods, but they also make mods that are useful to us. We have glitch hunters that don't run the game. And we also have just a few really good runners that route the game. Probably the number one person to mention is X-Dragon, who's done the very early work of the game. You don't see much of his impact in this category in particular because you never played it. Nonetheless, I think we're gonna see at least one trick that he's found. There's a cutscene coming up, and since I don't have the right team member with me, the game's gonna crash if I go into the cutscene and it realizes, yeah, I don't have the entity to play this cutscene with. So I need to teleport past this room as well. I hope you like seeing the menu. Hello. Okay, there. Most of the newer routing changes and like combat optimizations and that kind of stuff have been found by Symphonian, who has pretty much all the world records right now. But some of the really big game changer, please, okay, glitches, like the save warp, that one that lets me go to the other side of the map, that was found by Solidified Gaming. Never again heard of him. Nonetheless, very important contribution. The back in time glitch, which lets me go to the location of a different save file, found by AC, who does mods also. He also did the mod that lets you see which character I'm using in the save file. That normally you're never supposed to play as Shizuka. You only play her in the intro. So obviously the developers didn't put a function in there, or they didn't put the feature in to see in the save file which character you're using. You're always using Leia, supposedly. Oh, by the way, here I get this prompt here and ask me yes, no. So that has something to do with me skipping so much content. The game is like, something's going wrong here. I'm going to talk about it later again, when I actually make use of it. But don't worry if you see those pop-ups and you've never seen them in a casual playthrough. You shouldn't see them in a casual playthrough anymore, unless you've been what am I doing? Unless you've been in the early access. Okay, so I still need to do some story stuff here before I can go into the first dungeon. Oh, another important glitch hunter or route optimization person is Firecrow. Firecrow has been persistently finding ways to break the game in more subtle ways than going into the menu for 4 years now. And that one, I didn't even mention that. So already in Rookie Dungeon we used one of his creations. Whoops. Okay, here's the first dungeon. Finally. Dungeons are a great opportunity to skip a lot of content. First of all, I'm gonna do my circuits here. Okay, that's kind of sad, but okay. Whatever. So I'm doing these weird jumps where right after jumping, I'm doing a melee attack and then I'm dashing. Normally you cannot dash after a jump, but you can cancel almost any action with a different action. And therefore I'm canceling the jump state, or the jump animation. I'm canceling with a melee attack, and then suddenly the game doesn't know anymore that I was jumping in the first place, so it lets me dash. So by doing a dash right after a jump, I can get more distance, I can clear gaps that usually I shouldn't. What I'm doing here, oops, so there was a door with a key, and I used the key on it. So you lose the key when you do that. So with one save file, I went through the door already, and now I'm gonna teleport the save file that didn't use the key yet. I think I messed it up. I'm gonna teleport it behind the door to keep it. That didn't work. No worries, I can't redo it. Oops. So this file has the key, and I'm gonna send it behind the door into chamber 3. I'm still not sure that that worked. Didn't mash hard enough, I think. Nope. God damn it. This is one of the easier tricks usually. Do you even... Oh, let me... Now I'm confused with my save files. Save file management, as you can see, very important. Okay, this one works. You can lose runs to mismanaging your save files, as I've done a few times already. There we go. So in the upper left corner you can see I do have the key even though I passed the door. And I can use that key later instead of going somewhere and getting a different key. Now, as many times as I messed it up, it might have been faster to just grab the other key, but that's fine. Oops. So in this first dungeon we're still totally overpowered, and we're gonna, well, we would have one-hit KO'd that one. And we can do that same one with these. What the heck? Do I even have my gear on? That's the question now. Sometimes I do forget to actually put on the gear that I paid hard-earned money for. Hard-earned money.
Do we have time for a quick donation?
Sure.
There's a $24 donation from Anonymous, and with that the incentive to defeat Apollo has been met.
Thank you very much, Anonymous. Also, thank you to the entire nation of Finland, who earlier in the marathon donated $75 towards this donation goal as well. But also, thank you to the entire nation of Finland for just being the entire nation of Finland. Like, we don't just like you for your money. Okay. So, yeah, what I did there, I did a save warp. So this room is really big, and it connects a very early section of the dungeon with a very late section of the dungeon. And since I can teleport to the other side of the room, blah, 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 well, I teleported myself to the late section of this room. And I'm gonna... Oh, shit. Fuck. I'm gonna unlock the last floor of this dungeon and skip about half of the the content. What the heck did I just... Come on, man. Can I not... Oh my god. Wrong element. So yeah, same logic as we did with the where we went into the very late town, endgame town, to get the endgame gear and endgame food items. This is a sort of logic that goes through the whole game. Almost every dungeon has this feature, and we're gonna abuse it as much as possible. The category is called the category is called all dungeons, but it might as well just be called half of every dungeon. And here's just some platforming. Ice sections are really unfun, and if you don't have enough speed, she won't even jump off the ledge. But by doing long jumps, by canceling jump animation, we can get as much distance as we like, no matter how fast we are. And we can even jump around corners with the long jumps. Since we can get multiple dashes in one jump, we can just change direction like this, jump around the corners, please, thanks, instead of solving puzzles. Don't want to fall down there, but okay. Oh, okay. This is all fairly straightforward here. Here's another puzzle room where, with long jumps, we're just going to skip all the puzzle. If we get the timing right, that is. There we go. We're currently collecting 4 keys out of this floor to unlock. Yeah, the master puzzle. I like to call them the master puzzles. There's like one long puzzle at the end of every dungeon, which gives you access to the boss key. Oops. Or the master key, or whatever they're called. Yeah, okay. Oops. What is this? How does this work? It's so late, dude. I've been awake for so long now. It's not even funny. And I can't remember these. This is the simplest puzzle in the whole game, I think. And I gotta concentrate so hard right now. Holy moly. Oh, okay. So, go. Please. This is what we have the keys for right here. Okay, go. I don't have any... Guys. I didn't read the chat. Probably someone in chat said, oh, there's no music. It's such a good soundtrack. Lena Rain said it's her favorite soundtrack of the year. And I don't have it on. Fucking hell. No one told me, man. Okay. Oh, that's it already. Okay. Hey, Lingus. Thanks, Lingus. So, instead of taking the elevator back up into the boss room, I'm just gonna go quick travel into the town. That's a bit faster. And I'm gonna kill a few mobs here and there just for the experience. Now this boss has 3 phases. I'm gonna try to bother with only one of them. But for that, I wanna get this and this. And what else can we get? How about this? And I'm gonna eat food. So, spicy beetle type, it gives us extra attack stat. So, yeah, I know. The green number at the top, that's our attack stat right now. It also gives us a straight up percentage bonus on melee damage. So it's very strong, and we're gonna use it everywhere. Okay, not perfect, but that worked. Had we played this with Leia, this would take like a minute or two. I don't even know. There's no point even in timing those things, because Shizuka, at the beginning of the game, she's just so much faster than Leia. Which is obviously why we play as her right now. Okay, so we beat the first dungeon, we have the first shade. And usually we have to do things in relative order, because the game realizes that, oh, you're like past the story point, then I don't need to play this cutscene. And to get the shades, you need to play that specific cutscene, you know? So we can't do one dungeon and then the next, or we can't even do certain things that are past a dungeon that we still need. Nonetheless, I'm gonna do a, what do you call it? A sequence break here. So I safe warp into Autumn's Fall, which is sort of a mid-game area. How do I show you? There you go. I'm gonna get some experience here real quick. And it's past the second dungeon. And you're gonna see a lot later what the point of this is. Before we get there, I need to explain the early access of the game. So the game's been in early access for years. And, you know, it was fine because it turned out really great. However, the way they did it was they would release all this like content updates, areas and quests and mobs and whatnot. So you could just go and play the game without story in it. And they would get the story later on, you'd get the story of the previous area or something like that. So when the game realizes that you're at a much further point, like you're doing something that's past your current story point, it's like way totally whack. Like you're in the wrong chapter. There's like 10 chapters. It's gonna ask you whether you wanna like sort of reset. If you wanted to fix your file and send you to the right part of the story. And the way it does that, it puts you at the beginning of the next chapter. So right now we are in chapter 3, I think? Yeah. So I have the ability to go straight forward to chapter 4. If I can somehow trigger that. And I'm gonna do that by doing this quest. This is the Holo Rabbit quest. Damn, it's like chapter 6. So if I finish this quest and it asks me, are you doing alright? Is this really what you want? I'm gonna say, no it's not, please help me. And it's gonna teleport me to the beginning of chapter 4. The beginning of chapter 4 is right where we want to go, in fact, which is the next town. It's the next, the town of the next area. Well, we could also just walk there, but since we are gonna have to do this quest sooner or later anyway, we can combine those two tasks of going there and doing this quest into one. So we're gonna get there in a bit. I need to do a bit of fighting until that actually happens. So I'm gonna explain it then again. So that's not even a glitch. It's sort of a feature. It's the weirdest feature you could imagine, and the weirdest exploit in the game. Like sort of... Why did the devs put it there? And it works in so weird ways, and you can just abuse it for the speedrun. Those are the things that make this run really great for me. Damn it, please. Please just eat this attack. Okay. So all of this is fairly normal so far. God damn it. You don't need to do that long jump, but it's cool. And I want to do it. There we go. So this long jump, yeah, if I can do it, it saves you from doing one fight. So usually you do like 5 fights, no, 4 fights, and then the frobit, which is a mix of a frog and a rabbit. For all you people that are just as tired as me. Well, yeah, we're gonna skip the third one of those and go straight to the fourth. Solving this puzzle, like it's not a puzzle, but putting that platform there for later. Oop. I'm still so salty that I didn't have the music running, dude. Okay. When these bolts do that stomping attack, you have like half a second to dash behind or next to them, and then you can attack their back, which is the only area where they take damage. Normally they just turn around to you all the time, so you have to wait for one of their attacks to happen. And this frobit is one of the worst bosses in the game. Usually, but we're playing as Shizuka with over-the-top gear. This is fine. It's not optimal, but it's fine. Yeah. Could have been even, like, he just melts in this category. Please get out of the way. Flowers. So, now we're getting to that point that I was talking about. I'm gonna make a save here. And you probably know what that means. I'm gonna teleport this save to somewhere else later. I'm gonna say yes to this prompt. Because it says, damn, you're doing something messed up right here. I'm gonna just send you to the beginning of the next chapter. And here we are in this desert city. Bakikum. And we're gonna play this cutscene real quick. Alright. And here's the quick travel system. We've used it a few times, but we can also glitch the quick travel system similar to the other systems. We just press yes and no at the same time, and it's gonna take this quick travel prompt. I just destroyed my controller like that. And you can't see the quick travel prompt in the background, but it's still there, and I'm just gonna press enter now. And it's gonna teleport me here. So this is the save file that did not give in the frobit quest. We did the frobit quest, but we have not yet gone to take our reward. And the reason we need to get this save file over here instead of the other one that was quote-unquote fixed is that the other one is soft-locked. It doesn't have a certain quest, it doesn't have the right teammates, it's just thoroughly messed up, and we won't get anywhere with it. So we just teleport this one that has Emily in its team and that is fairly functional. Over here we take the quest and we're happy. So there are some weird quirks here and there where you need to shuffle which save game you wanna do, wanna keep going with, because you might just soft lock or something. Don't worry about it too much. I'm just teleporting to the other side of these rooms because they're sort of closed off, but they're a shortcut to where we're going now. It's just a quest we have to do to grant us access to the next dungeon. 40 minutes. I don't know if that's a good time. I'm also gonna skip this room. This skips 3 fights. Very good. And this is the easiest jump of the game. Right here, that's the easiest jump. Not this one, but this one. The easiest one. Just a triple long jump around the corner. Triple as in we have to do 3 dashes. There we go. And this boss usually has 2 phases. We just need to attack him with heat. And then the second phase we skip by just using our combat art, which deals so much damage that it kills him. Kills the worm without much fuss. Because that's how OP we are. Oh yeah, so 40 minutes. Actually, it's 40 minutes into the run? I thought it was 30 minutes, but the incentive is coming up. It has been met. Just as a reminder, this dude wants us to beat his face. I am sure to do that. Actually, it's not part of the route. Obviously, it wouldn't be an incentive otherwise. And I haven't practiced it. I'm mentally handicapped. I need to get this thing real quick. So. There we go. Oh, okay. So now we got this thing, it grants us access to go down there. And that's where the dude wants to fight us. But yeah, as I said, I haven't practiced it and I not sure that I'm gonna do it all that well, so I'm gonna ask my teammates to help me. Just gonna talk to Emily real quick. I need to change one of my settings here. Otherwise, she likes to talk too much. What am I doing? I didn't do this many times. As I said, it's not part of the route. So I'm just gonna talk to her a bit like this, and then I'm gonna say no to this prompt here. And bear with me for a second. Okay. I'm just talking to Apollo right now. And I'm gonna invite my friends here into my party, because in a PvP fight usually they get disinvited, but I'm just gonna invite them. I'm gonna tell them to actually fight this time, and I'm just gonna try to run away from Apollo while they beat him up. Oh, Emily's already dead. She's level 14. I think you need to be like level 25 or something at this point. So that's a bit sad. Let's see if... Come on, Citron. There you go. There you go. 100 damage. Does he? Yeah, in the bottom right corner here you can see he did nothing. Maybe I should help him a bit. Yeah, okay, there we go. So you have to do... Someone has to win 5 rounds, so it's best of 9, I guess. I'm gonna help them along a bit. Emily's already dead again. She's so useless. She's the most useless person in the world. In any category, she's just absolute cancer. Oh boy. Come on, Citron. Come on. Yeah, he can't even eat. I can't eat. I can't eat food during the fight. Apollo can't either. But Citron's like... I eat food. That's what I do. Yeah, I should Okay, I don't need I don't need my teammates. Let's just smash his face real quick. No? He's so annoying. There we go. I hate this dude. I wanna skip these, so I need to change this setting again. So that's the Apollo fight. He is the worst. Learning him in no major glitches is an absolute pain. So I'm very glad that he... goddamn. Oh yeah, so what I'm doing now, I'm again doing a safe warp to get to a different place on the map that I'm supposed to go. And in this case, the next dungeon happens to have a quick travel landmark right at the middle of the dungeon. And I can abuse that for a safe warp and spawn right there in the middle of the dungeon. I skipped the first half. I need to save here real quick. I entered this room from the wrong side, and it's gonna softlock me in a cutscene. I just need to save and reload. I don't need to pick this up. I already have the cold element, and if I were to pick it up, this thing, it would just take the other two elements from me that I'm not supposed to have yet at this point. Alright. Next dungeon, you know what dungeons mean, I hope? It means possibility to skip stuff. I'm gonna skip this puzzle room real quick. No? And I'm gonna do my circus real quick. Attack. Very good. And I need my cold circuit now. So these are the 4 elements: heat, cold, wave, and shock. If they tell you really nothing, that's, I think, very appropriate. And let's go for this. We're still completely OP, still in the second dungeon. We can absolutely ignore every gimmick that these enemies have. Usually every enemy is like a little puzzle in the game. I need to expose their weak spot and stuff. We don't need that. We have amazing stats. I'm just gonna skip this puzzle with a good jump. Not every skip is a safe warp. Not every skip needs to be in the menu. There are some nice other sorts of skips in the run as well. Sometimes you can see that Shizuka turns into just a palette swap of Leia, and that probably means that at some very early stage of the game development, she was just a palette swap of Leia. Which is funny. Leia with black hair. Okay, I'm sorry about this. I actually have to solve this puzzle, so please avert your eyes. Here, you can just walk on top of these pipes and make it to almost the end of this puzzle room. Not even a glitch or an exploit. Anyhow, skipping these rooms as well. Just going straight to the end of each of these rooms. These moths, I need to attack the moths through these sticks. These sticks sort of change the elevation of my projectiles. There's not much more to it. I'm not gonna solve this puzzle, I'm just gonna jump over it. Now I'm almost soft locked. I'm just gonna save here. And it's gonna spawn me at the same door that I came from when I do a save. Yet I still retain the key that I just took. Like in the last dungeon, the last half of the dungeon is essentially just getting keys to unlock the master puzzle, which unlocks the final fight, which gives you the key to the boss. Let's see. These two shots were found by Lingus. Beautiful. In their very own way. Oh. God damn it. I still go into this room. This room used to be really hard. To me, at least, in some really early versions of the game. But yeah, I'm still, every time I'm surprised how you just kill every scorpion with one hit. I need to think about what to do in every room. Ah, fuck it. See, I really should think about it. Big brain over here. And this fight has a really nice gimmick to it, where you kill some of these jellyfish. These jellyfish, they spawn these bubbles. And you're supposed to hit, like, this golem that spawns, you're supposed to hit him with one of those bubbles to make him vulnerable. But again, as Shizuka, we just ignore every single sort of gimmick. It gets better than this though. The combat gets much better later in the run. It's only in the beginning of the run where Leia doesn't have any levels. And she doesn't have any access to combat arts, that she isn't really that fast. But once we get those levels and we can get those combat arts, suddenly Leia is really strong. Here we go, a fight against a lot of moths. That's literally me in the evening in the summer because I have the window open and the lights on. Please just do this. For these black moths I have to wait for them to attack, otherwise they are not vulnerable. Okay, so we get the key to the boss. What's the boss gonna be? Is it gonna be hard? Is it gonna be easy? Those are all valid questions. So, I'm gonna unlock this door real quick. I'm gonna walk through this door for no reason at all, and now I'm gonna go into the menu. There we go, that was the boss. And I need my controller back, dude. I hope it still works. Yeah, it does work. Please. Okay. So we can stack these quick travel prompts. I'm just gonna take it into these cutscenes. So this is the cutscene where I get the shade. So that's the last cutscene I need to see out of this dungeon to fulfill the category. And now, in this stage, the game wouldn't let me quick travel. I can't use the map, can't use the quick travel. But since I stored it from before I went into this cutscene, I can just go out anyway. I can go back here where we got the Frobot quest, or where we did the Frobot quest. Now I can give in the quest, get my reward, just 500 experience, get out of there, and continue with the story. Coming up is the raid. We're gonna have some time in the raid. But before that, I need to make a save here, and that naturally means I'm gonna keep the save and teleport it to a different place later on, and this will later be our main save file that we complete the game with. However, we need to clear a large portion of the game on a different timeline, so to say. Just gonna spend some circuit points here real quick for later. No, yeah, I don't know. Okay, save this here. So keep this save file in mind. We made a save before the raid, so that's in chapter 6. Once we finish the raid, we're gonna get into chapter 7. So the raid is just a long stretch of fights. And we have no idea how to skip it, because it sends us into an area of the game that is very vital to the run and very vital to the game generally. So yeah, in the beginning I have to kill like a few mobs here, and the faster I do it, the better, obviously. Ah, fuck. I shouldn't swear so much, but I don't know what to do. Please, what is this pattern? So yeah, killing these mobs fast is good, but then, so you're gonna see these cubes, and those are kind of on a timer, so it doesn't matter how fast I kill them, as long as within that time span that the game sets. So now I kind of sort of wait around for the next color of blocks to be open, to be killed. Do we have a donation by any chance?
Not currently, no, but I would like to remind everyone of the bid war coming up for Perimeter 2 New Earth. The campaign is gonna be decided by the bid war, and currently Easy is ahead of Exodus by $5.
In other versions of the any percent run, the any percent run has changed so much in just half a year. It's taken all sorts of forms. Other versions of any percent than the current one, the raid was the hardest part of the game. You were so underleveled, and there's just so much going on, so much damage dealt. But now it's really trivial. I can just tank anything. I'm taking like 20 damage from everything, and I have 7,000 health. So I don't know, I don't have much to say, I'm sorry. Ouch. You don't want to kill a block of the wrong color before the previous color is officially over. So you're just gonna see me waiting a lot here. What else is there to mention? The blank save glitch. That's the one that gave us all those elements for free at the very beginning of the game. In this category, it doesn't like save immense time. Actually, it does. That glitch was found by Blue Cheetah, also a modder of the game, and apparently now also a glitch hunter. So a lot of for this game was made by people who don't even run it, and it's important to keep that in mind. Oh, I have to do another color. So the intro Shizuka, the one we played in the intro, usually she doesn't have much going for her. She can't even shoot balls. She can't solve any puzzles, because most puzzles are based on your projectiles. And we had some very complicated routes to get playable Shizukas, to give her those abilities that she lacks to finish a whole game with her. And those runs took, I mean, I guess if you were good, let's say 140. No one who is good actually tried. Only I tried. Fuck, I killed a blue block. Too early. See, I'm talking and playing at the same time. It's so hard. But now with a blank glitch, it gives us those elements, but it also gives us all other abilities. So that's also the ability to shoot balls. So the only reason we're using Shizuka right now is the blank glitch. The blank save glitch. And that's also the only reason why Shizuka is used in any percent. Oh my god. See, you don't wanna be too fast. You actually wanna pay attention to what you're doing. God damn it. This is a shameful display.
Do we have time for a donation?
Sure.
We have a $10 anonymous donation with the comment, "Good luck on the run, my friend, although I'm sure that as a god gamer you won't need any."
I am a god gamer, thank you. Was that anonymous?
Yes, it was.
Oh, okay. Thanks, anonymous, my best friend. Oops. These are the last fights we do as Shizuka, by the way, so someone in chat is already making fun about how easy the game is. We're gonna change that soon. We're gonna get into more nuanced ways of combat, into well-routed, well-researched ways of disposing of enemies. Just bear with me here. This is a scripted fight, so after you finish the raid, it sends you here. I just use the fastest way of dying, which is throwing yourself off the cliff, to finish that scripted fight. I have so much defense and whatnot that there's no way that he would do anything against me anyway. And now I'm in this is Vermilion Wasteland. It's pretty much the center point of the game. I'm gonna make a save here. Keep this save in mind. So we have two saves to keep in mind. This one here is the one before the raid, and this one is the one right after the raid. And I'm gonna do some save warps here. So there's a lot of No, 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 I'm not gonna make that mistake again. There's a lot of story stuff and combat and puzzles and whatnot in this area. We're gonna skip all of it by just going to the place that we would... Damn it. That we would be unlocking by doing all those things. There's like a row of enemies. When they see you, they sound an alarm and it closes the door to where we want to go. But we're just gonna teleport right behind them. They're dumb as rock and we just can't go past here. Into this dungeon. This is Vermilion Tower 1. Gonna make a new save and I'm gonna... So I can't teleport or something. Can I? See, I can't teleport, see. So I need to do a back in time, which is the one where you can teleport to the position of a different save file. I'm gonna teleport right here again, close to these dudes that I just passed before. And now when I enter this dungeon the second time, this is a major story spoiler, so you might want to close your ears for a minute. This is also the final dungeon of the game. And now the game realizes, oh, you're in the dungeon for a second time, it should be the final dungeon. And it's also putting us into Chapter 10. We're in Chapter 10 now. How is that important? We're gonna see in a second. So from the perspective of this one, right above us is the jungle area. And I'm gonna get my controller here real quick. It's the jungle area. It's the next area after Vermilion. So after that wasteland that we skipped just a second ago, that's the next area. But you would have to finish a lot of story stuff in Vermilion. You would have to finish Vermilion Tower 1 in order to be able to pass that gate that we just passed. Normally when you go there in Chapter 6 or Chapter 7, it tells you, oh, please do the raid. You're supposed to do the raid now. Some character tells you that. But we just got ourselves a save file that is in Chapter 10. The game has no problem with us going to Gaia to go into the jungle, which is called Gaia's Garden, in Chapter 10, and we're just gonna use that to walk up here. The next few dungeons are here. It's like a double dungeon, so to say, or a triple dungeon. It's complicated. And we can just walk all the way through here. There are a few quests that you normally have to do to enter the dungeons, but we can skip those as well. With save warps and with a different technique that's gonna come up in a second as well. There we go. So here's a landmark. I'm gonna use this. So I'm gonna save this as my last position so I can do the save warp into the next room. And it's gonna spawn me in the next room, also on the quick travel landmark.
I would just quickly like to mention that the last donation was by SB Will.
Thank you, Wille. I'm over here. Okay, so I'm over here. This is where the dungeons meet. But this is not the save file I want to be on, because I'm already in Chapter 10. I can't do these dungeons. It won't play the right. What are they called? Cutscenes. I need those cutscenes to finish the category. So now I'm going to teleport the Chapter 6 save file that I still have over here. I'm gonna teleport it there. Now this one can do that. But also, I don't want to play as Shizuka anymore, so I'm gonna close the game. This is a different glitch. I can just swap the character I'm playing as. It's similar to a back in time. It doesn't matter too much how it works exactly. In the very beginning I saved one of these layer files, so this is a layer over here. And I'm gonna use that as a basis for this glitch. Oh, I messed something up. I need a save. Yeah. I need to create a save real quick. I need a better layer than that one. That one's not good. Okay, so now I need to close the game again. What am I doing? Okay, I'm loading this. That was blazingly fast. Oh, yeah, I know why. Frick, dude. That's annoying. See, save file management. Save file management is the alpha and omega of this run. Let's try this again. This is really not the hardest operation of it. Again, I did it again. I can't believe it. Can I just walk out of here? No. Can I? Blah. I don't even know. What's my time? 1:11. I'm sorry about the infinite menuing. This should not happen. Chat. Again. What am I even... So I want to go... Oh no! Oh my god. Yeah, I know what I'm doing wrong. Okay, let's try this. Okay, let's get rid of you, and let's get rid of you. And let's... What are you? You're perfect. I'm getting it this time. This is completely fine. Okay. No, 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 no. Okay. Oh, okay, that's worked. This worked. We're in there. We're in there. Now! I messed it. Oh my god. No! I'm such an idiot. See, I did it on the wrong file. God damn it. It might seem like this is the worst that could have happened. But the worst that could have happened is that I delete the wrong file, and then we wouldn't have run at all. So don't worry. This is still fine. We only need to do this for the 1000th time, and this time I'm pretty sure it's gonna work. No. That was my mistake. I didn't press the buttons in the right way. Oh boy. No, 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 no. Hey, we did it. There we go. So we have everything that we had before. We're level 27, we have our gear, we have our progress, but we just changed the character from Shizuka to Leia. And now we can enter the more interesting bit of the run, or like the more combat heavy bit of the run. Except I just need to fix my save file here right now. I need to go into a cutscene to tell the game what part of the game I want to be in right now. Just need to fix like the storyline variable. Gonna trigger this cutscene, and now we can go and have fun again. Nope. Alright. Now we're gonna have 3 dungeons in a row. With more interesting fights. But also a lot of skipping. Please. I'm gonna skip this half of this room. You know how by now? Oh. And there we go. We have actually fights where we don't one-hit everything. So these guys, I just need to like shoot at them until they scream at me. Then I hit them. And they become vulnerable. I can shoot at them really fast with my newly acquired combat arts. Those are my, special attacks. Skip half of this room as well. Oh, that was... Oh, I didn't skill into the right thing, apparently. Let's have a look at it. Actually, not at all. Not gonna bother. Alright, so here's a very big room. The room that I just left. It's a very big room that connects a very early part of this dungeon with a very late part of the dungeon. We should be used to this by now, and it's gonna be abused. I just need to find my way to a very certain room with a very certain exit that I can use for that safe warp. I hate this dude. Oh, that's too late. There you go. We've got some of these guys again here. Oh, you're not broken yet. Alright. So what I needed to achieve is this door. I need to walk out of this door, and I need to use this door as the starting point of my safe warp chain. So I'm gonna essentially warp to the end of each of these rooms until I'm back at the big room that I mentioned that connects us to the end portion of the dungeon. We skip most of the dungeon this way and go straight into the element room, where this time we can pick up the element acquire thingy, because it's a very endgame element and it's not going to take away the others. And I need to do my circuits now. I need this stuff. And this. That's good enough. Here's a little puzzle. It's one of these time puzzles. They become a bit more interesting as the run goes on, compared to the time puzzle in the cold mine and in the temple mine run. Let's have some foods. Again, the spicy beetle type, it gives me attack buff and melee buff, which two different things. So attack just works on everything, and melee just melee just means it's a linear sort of buff on only melee attacks. This manta ray has a little gimmick where I need to charge that lightning rod here. These, what are they? Jellyfish? I don't know. They have a gimmick. I need to use the magnet, which I don't know what it does to them, but it makes them vulnerable. And here's the boss. We only skip one dungeon boss in the whole run, so that's pretty good actually. We're gonna do the other ones. So spicy beetle type, and the other thing I'm gonna eat is the werewolf stick. It gives us more SP, so we're gonna regenerate SP points for our combat arts faster, and it's also gonna reduce the element overcharge, which fucking hell is a mechanic that punishes you for using elements too much. We want our elements though, so we're gonna eat the stuff. To use them as much as possible. God damn it, I missed him. This boss is really fast if you just use Radiant Swarm, I think is the name. It shoots a bunch of projectiles at the boss and breaks him immediately, because he breaks depending on how many projectiles he shoots with. So I'm just gonna use this, and now we don't even need to break him. Now he's actually gonna take damage. He should die. That's a pretty quick boss. So this is something that Leia can do and Shizuka can't, because, well, she only has one melee combat art that does quite a lot of damage for one single hit, but all in all, it doesn't even have an elemental effect, whereas what we just did right there is especially super effective against those wave type monsters. Hello. So that's why we switched characters for this part of the run. And here these puzzles, I can cheese these puzzles. I already have the element unlocked. Normally you're like, these are like tutorial sections where you have to shoot through these things that change your projectiles into the corresponding element. Well, I already have the element, so I don't need to bother with any of this. So there's also gonna be a quick dungeon until we hit the big room. No. Press the button. As you can see, the fights are getting a bit more involved rather than just one hitting everyone. We actually need to use our combat arts and the right element to make short work of every enemy here. And so this is the big room. Again, we can use the safe warp. Almost. Oh, god damn it. This mouse has fucking dumbest side keys I've ever seen. Holy shit. There we go. We can use the big room to go from the very early section of the dungeon to the very late section of the dungeon. Skip a lot of stuff. And we can also cheese these puzzles right here because we already had the element. Oh, please. Like this. Coming up is a long fight. Oh yeah, whatever. Gonna have a spicy beater type for it. Ah, damn it. So these robots are weak to wave, pretty much. Kind of fodder enemies. And the weakness that they have, they only... Ah, damn it. It only shows really rarely. So I just punch them. Essentially. And then there's these phantoms, so these two turn into phantoms. They do have gimmicks, but I hope you won't see them. Yeah. It's much faster never to see the gimmick of any enemy. And we just earned ourselves the wave element. We already had the wave element, but as we get it, it erases all the circuits that we used, and we need to reassign them. Let's go with this stuff. Melee damage. That's good enough for now. And now we need to solve the master puzzle. We actually need to solve a little puzzle, and then, which unlocks the master puzzle. So the only dungeon that does that. Yeah. These screens are really busy, but they're not that complicated once you've done them once. So this is one of these timed puzzles where we shoot this ball, it goes through this parkour, and we just try to guide it. We're gonna have a little fight before the boss. Gonna eat the spicy beater type. This should last for not only this fight but also the boss. And I'm gonna try to get some, not to use up all my SP so I can use it on the boss. God damn it. I know. So the gimmick of these is that when they aim at me like that in red, and I teleport, they become confused and vulnerable. In the previous fight it didn't happen often, but in this one it happens quite regularly, so that's nice. This one I need to break him, and he has 3 phases, but naturally I'm not gonna bother, hopefully, with most of them. Actually I wanna go here. Just gonna use my combat art here, it deals a ton of damage. Some more maybe. There we go. That's a good boss fight. And yeah, that leaves us with one more dungeon. To get there, we would have to solve the quest. We don't want to solve the quest, because we don't need to do that in this category. So we're gonna use this nice exploit. This is Dragon. I can't even remember names. I'm so done. So we use this combat art here. It gives us a certain amount of height, and this one only works because we started from these steps here. It's like half a block height or something. It's very, very small amount of height. At some earlier point of the game development, this move actually got you all the way up of one of those. It would have gotten us this high even without those steps, but the developers thought it too OP and too obvious and took it down just a notch. And so this is all of what remains of Blazing Dragon as a method of skipping. So this is the final dungeon, and I just messed this up. There's rooms to the left and to the right, and they have puzzles, they have combat, and you're gonna see in a second. How did I do that? No, that's wrong. You're gonna see in a second where they lead you. I don't want to go through there, I want to go there directly. So these combinations of jumps and trick shots were found. I don't know which was found by whom, but one of them was found by Firecrow and the other one was found by Axe Dragon. So yeah, the door right there where I pressed the button, that is where you come out after doing like a long stretch of... I messed it up. I messed the jump up, everything else was fine. And I'm just gonna use these platforms that go up and down to get there in a much quicker fashion. There we go. We press the buttons, we can solve this puzzle without all of that crap. Beautiful. I really, really love this stuff. This run, I really like this run. I've spent like 20 minutes in that one menu and I didn't know how to do things, but at its best, I think this category is pretty good right now, as it is. Here's a cool boss. Do I have the right circuits, just to make sure? Yep. Pretty annoying. It's like a mid-boss, kind of. And he has some dirty tricks, in my opinion. I'm not gonna bother checking out any of those. I'm just gonna break him as soon as possible. And I'm gonna hit... that was just one hit too early. Just gonna hit him with the 1-2 combination of Radiant Swarm and Battery Assault. And Battery Assault is a melee attack which locks in the enemy for a very long time. So he can't escape your attack, even if his timer for his next action goes off. And Radiant Swarm, you shoot a bunch of projectiles and they hit him. And Radiant Swarm, you can cast it and then just do whatever you want to do otherwise. And that's gonna be... It's gonna be a Battery Assault. You can do those two things simultaneously, essentially. And that's a really great combo to take out some enemies. And over here... So, this is the second half of the last dungeon. We just skipped the first half. down there. And I'm also not gonna bother with most things. Again, here you would go like through a long... You'd solve this puzzle and then go through a lot of rooms with puzzles and fights. But I'm just gonna... Since the entry room and the exit room are the same room, I can just abuse some jumps and this glitch over here, which is absolutely beautiful, but it has a really tight timing. Can abuse that to get to the key immediately. I'm too early with this. Need to grab it just a bit later. So I'm going to teleport this block to that point, and I'm going to grab it as it sort of goes past me. I want to grab it just a little bit later than this. This is normal, don't worry about it. And you're gonna see in a second. Okay, so as you can see, I essentially grab it when it's left of me, and I can push it up and down like this. And the game only checks whether the block hits anything. And if I hit anything, it doesn't matter, I just phase through it like that. And I can go through the fence straight to the key, which I require for this master puzzle. So this is what this dungeon also looks like in no major glitches, because anything that's not a menu glitch, so the category might as well be called no menu glitches. Anything that's sort of physics based is allowed in no major glitches, or as I like to call it, no menu glitches. But yeah, even though that run is very different from this one, this dungeon is done the same way. So here's the final boss of this dungeon. I'm just gonna eat some stuff again, the food for damage and the food for elements and special attacks. Just need to break this bad boy here with a few projectiles. And then hit him with some lightning, and that's the first phase of the whale. And then the monkey is like, "What up?" We've already fought the monkey, and we're just gonna do the same thing as before. I just don't want you to fall down, thanks. Lock him in place with batteries. Hey, he didn't even die, dude. This sucks. Well, what you gonna do? The whale still has two phases, but I'm gonna try to get them done in just one. I'm gonna eat a spicy beer type for that. Let's try not to die. Well, it's hard to die. My gear is still really overpowered. I have a lot of defense and a lot of health. No. Oh my god, I thought it was done. Oh, this sucks. Come on, man. My buffs are running out. Oh, what did I just do? Oh, okay. Well, I need to do this little puzzle here now. Real quick. No, usually this doesn't happen if you kill the ape. Oh my god, I didn't even pay attention. I don't even know. Shit. Please die. Oh my god. This hurts. This hurts. Break him again, perhaps? No! I hate life right now. God damn it. I must have forgotten to do my skill tree and get some extra damage. Die. Now I need to repeat this process. Oh boy. Oh boy. Can easily lose a few minutes on this if you mess it up like this. And yeah, look at the monkey just melt now because oh, he doesn't even melt. Oh my god. I don't know how to fight this dude. I haven't fought him in years. Holy shit. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I did it. I died on the heckin' whale fight. It's getting worse by the minute. What time? 1:40. This is gonna be heckin' bad. I know the game came out in September. I have not fought him in years. I will stay by that statement. Attacking someone, even if you don't do any damage, it lowers your elemental overload and it gives you SP bars. So if you're not doing anything, you should be doing that. Just attacking. I didn't do my circuits again, so I'm gonna have, I don't know, I'm gonna have a fun time. Are you? Oh boy. Here's the autosave. Let's look at my dumbass circuits. See, I have 11 points. I need to spend them on something like this, and this, and this. And here I have 10 heckin' points, my dude. Where do I spend those? How about more attack? Can I get this one? I'll take it. Let's try again. My dumbass warm-up run was sub 2 hours and I went on the toilet. Oh boy. You have no idea how salty I am right now. And I can't go on the toilet now, that won't help me. Please. If you want to learn this run, it's not that hard. You just gotta remember to do things. Oops. From a purely mechanical standpoint, it's very much doable. You're overpowered for most of the run. And for the later parts of the run where you're not strictly speaking overpowered, there are some really good strats. I don't know if tech will let me show those off if I'm gonna keep playing at this pace. There we go. See, if we do have the damage, this happens. And we're gonna get our last shape. So that's the last dungeon. I already told you what the last area of the game is. The Million Tower 2. And you remember that I made a save game there. Where am I even going? I don't care. I just want this autosave to be somewhere else. So, remember this bad boy. How about this one? I can do a landmark warp from this one. Just get the quick travel prompt from here. Transport it over to my current save. You have no idea how much I'm skipping. I have no idea how much I'm skipping. I haven't done that stuff in forever. In decades. In decades, chat. I haven't done those. Let's actually do the circuits this time. I need this. This is important.
Do we have time for a donation?
Oh, yes.
We have a $25 anonymous donation saying, "This looks like a very cool game that I need to play. Good luck to all the runners."
Thank you. It is a very good game. I haven't played Celeste, but if I were to accept the status quo that Celeste is the best game of the year 2018, let's just take that as gospel. This is the easiest second place you can think of. Oh, it's a completely different game, obviously, so it's actually the best game of the year because it's not just another platformer. Oh, I don't need food. It also has between 30 and 80 hours of content depending on how much side content you like to do and how much reading you like to do. Hello? Which element am I in? What am I even doing? Maybe this. I'm dying. That's what I'm doing. God damn it. Oh, damn it. Can you time your attacks even worse somehow? These virus things have a really weird mechanic where you need to wait for an oh my god, do I have a sandwich by any chance? Wow. One. I don't think that's much help. So you need to wait for one of the small ones to do an attack and push it into the big one to make it vulnerable. Okay, now let's try and skip some puzzles. So I have this combat art which makes like a clone of me, and enemies will attack the clone, or they will also look at the clone instead of you, so it's as though you weren't there. And these turrets, in these sections, they react to your position, and they think you're standing over there, so you can just walk past them if you use it at the right spot. Okay, so yeah, no, that's right. I want both foods. It's like a kind of mini boss or something. It has 2 phases, but I'm gonna attempt to one-shot it. With a cold God damn it, dude. I'm too eager to attack. Oh. Whatever. Worst things have happened. I have 42 health. Oh my god. Okay, that's the only turret we have to do. If you know the game already, there's 4 turrets. However, all the other turrets we can skip. Only that turret. Its door only opens when you beat it. All the other turrets, the door's already open, and you just need to safe warp there. As you so often do in this run. And then in these elevators we always have fights. Yep, I know. So, we want to eat some food. We want to choose the right element, which, let's say that's heat for now. I have the weirdest skill tree right now. Oh yeah. This dude, I need to hit his butt to make him vulnerable. And then he farts. And then I need to do it again to kill him. What do we do here? Well, we use our clone to skip past some of these turrets here. And then the rest. We're gonna safe warp. We're almost done with the menus. 1 more minute, not even, and you won't see any more menus. We're already at 152. I'm gonna go just a tad overestimate, which is terrible, obviously. But what you gonna do? Alright, that was the last safe warp we're gonna do. So, another elevator fight. God damn it. And then here spawns an enemy. I'm not even gonna bother with him, I'm just gonna use one of my combat arts, which one-shots him. It locks him in place, so he can't defend himself. I'm saying he, that's not very gender neutral, but I don't know what to do. In German, the enemy is a male word, naturally. So here, we're gonna try to one-shot this turret now, like we wanted to one-shot the other one. I messed it up again. No, it's gonna take too long. We're gonna try it again. This is fine. It's hard to... you need to get him really down, really far down on his health in the first phase. And but not go over the first phase, because then the enemies become invulnerable. So it's tough to find the sweet spot. Try it like this. This should work. Okay. Now that we one-shotted one of these, they will spawn these medallions that give us invincibility of these weird attacks. And we can kill them without much fuss. But usually it's a bit more involved. You have to go in the circle like twice. Now we only have to do it once. There we go. Our last timed puzzle. It's somehow the most boring one. Because you have to switch between elements. They give you a lot of time to do that. So yes, a lot more waiting than on the others, where you would use only one element. Oh, 155. Okay, one more fight. One more elevator fight here coming up, and what element do I want to be in? Wave. After that, it's the final boss. What is going on? Why do you have a shield?
We have time for another quick donation.
Sure.
We have a $20 donation from Pancake Sky, just saying, fun game.
Thanks. I could go for some pancake for now. Okay, I need to think about what's happening next, because just need to, you always need to know which element to switch to. Next. Whoop. Also, don't get overloaded, and don't let him heal the other dude. So, these shredders, these enemies, they have like special, every single one of them has a different sort of special move. And the green ones can heal, not only themselves, but also their teammates. And okay, I'm just gonna murder you. And then here spawns another one of those things that you'll never see and never know what they are, because I kill them before they appear. So that attack that I use to dispose of those dudes immediately, that's not what I wanted to do. That's Ether Snipe. So it locks enemies in place, and it pretty much ignores whatever they wanted to do. And we're gonna make use of that very much in the final boss fight, which is coming up right now. It should take like 8 minutes if I don't mess it up, I think. Hello. I want to get a lot of SP, as much SP as possible. Because now he's gonna do like this move, gonna fall from the sky. And on the last fall, I can use Ether Snipe. And I just finished a phase, and during the attack that he does after a phase, I can finish another one. And this way I can skip most of this fight. I'll try to concentrate so we don't have to suffer through more of this. I'll try to skip 2 at once now. Because I have all 12 bars, all 12 SP bars, and I need 6 of them for 1 Ethos Knight. The timing is kind of precise, but I don't know, it takes like a day of practice until you get reasonably good at it. And the damage, in this category at least, the damage is not a problem whatsoever. More problematic is my elemental overload, but I think it's manageable. Hello, can you give me this? Please. Oh boy, that was close as heck. I don't have anything to give me health. Should be fine, should be fine. Oh. I'm living on the edge. So yeah, if I can get these two, the first half of the boss fight is over, and I think I'll get full heal. So, pray. Can I eat this? Very good. And this is the last part of the final boss fight. He's really big, really beefy. But don't worry. So you let him do some attacks, and then he decides to be vulnerable. There is some in-game logic to why a boss would be this stupid, by the way, so don't worry about it too much. And yeah, when he's vulnerable, I can break him and deal some damage. And that's the first phase. So these first few phases, fairly straightforward. Just wait for his attacks, break his fist, and then break his nose. And smash it. This time, however, on this phase, we don't want to break him, because he's going to switch element if we don't, which is nice. So now he switches to shock mode, and when he's in shock, he's vulnerable to wave. Now, wave is the element in which I can use Ethos Knight. So I'm going to do that. It's gonna be super effective, and I can deal damage that kills him up to the next phase as well. During the attack, I switch my element. You can charge and attack and then change your element. Your stats are gonna update, because in one element you might have better stats than in the other one. Your stats will update and apply to the elemental effect, to the combat art of the other element. Oops. If you've already used it. It's not going to change the element though, which is in fact actually fine in many cases, like this one. So these later phases of the fight are much more annoying, because he's gonna, so in the top right corner it says like times 2000 HP. He actually has, in the code, like the actual variable of his HP is now times 2000. So I need to wait and kill some of these guys here, the round ones. And when I kill them, they give me an attack multiplier as well. So I need to get, I guess, 11 of them. Before I can actually attempt this stuff. So this time he's not in shock, his Ether Snipe is not super effective. I'm gonna charge another. Oh, it didn't heckin' work. Oh my god. It's gonna take just a minute longer than it should have. But yeah, I used not only Ether Snipe, I also used Eternal Winter, which is a cold combat art. He was on heat mode, so it would have been super effective. It was super effective, but yeah. I guess my... Please. Oh my god. My food item might have ran out before I was charging those attacks. How does this face even work? I haven't been here in a while. Oh boy, I forgot about this. Okay, what can we... Well, I don't know. I don't think I need any food right now. Okay, last two phases. So now he's on... What is he on? Shock. Perfect. Again, he's gonna be especially vulnerable to Ether Snipe. So this is another good point to skip a phase. Solving these puzzles also gives us multipliers. Oh yeah, we're just waiting for the multiplier to actually fill up here. It will after this attack right here. Kill this dude. Kill that dude. Eat one of these. Rising Superstar. It's just a mega attack buff. It just gives us a shit ton of attack. And we do the Ether Snipe thing again. If you bounce the Ether Snipe, it works better. And that's time, by the way. God damn it. A solid 30 minutes over my PB and a solid 20 minutes over my warm-up run, but okay. That was CrossCode. It's a really good game. It's also a really good speed game. So any percent is incredibly easy and incredibly short right now. You should have a look at it. The game's also pretty cheap, so you should definitely have a look at CrossCode. I'm not gonna make it any longer than this because we're already like over an hour behind, I think. Thanks for watching the run.
Thank you very much, Urinstein, for that run. We also had another $50 donations by Luxin coming in during the end of that run, saying congratulations on a great run and thanks for running the game pretty much since before the crowdfunding. Next up, we have Prince of Persia: Warrior Within by Tokaloni, so stay tuned for that.